B is for battlers. All right, you battlers, you know what it is. JayDevin back at it with another Go Battle League video. And featured in today's video is going to be this super bulky team. Now, the team is a pretty common Ultra League Go Battle League team. It's not really that different from yesterday's team, save for the lead. So for this set, this was also a pretty successful set. This is the first set that I ended up doing today. Was it a 5-0? No, it wasn't. I feel like I always run into at least one person who brings that, that one Pokemon that you feel like is the glaring weakness in your team. And of course, they brought it. But anyways, lead Cresselia every time with this team. And then just like yesterday, I will bring the Giratina as well as the Steelix. And of course, again, there are the IVs. All right, getting into game 1 against the first opponent. I think I actually went undefeated up until game 5, which they had the one thing I didn't want to run into. But, someone always brings what you don't want to see. It's Go Battle League, okay? So I already noticed right off the bat, it really looks like they won the CMP tie, is what I'm noticing at this point. And the Armored Mewtwo, even though, Cresselia can outbulk it, the confusion damage combined with the neutral rock slide is just, it hits so hard. Even though I'm a super bulky Pokemon, Cresselia just doesn't really deal that much damage. I mean, especially because you can see the Armored Mewtwo is going to resist the Future Sight. Moonblast probably could have been a little bit better, maybe, who knows. Aurora Beam could have kind of performed as well because it's going to be more energy efficient. But considering the bulk of Cresselia, this is why I like to open with it, is I'm not too pressured to use shields. Psycho Cut's not doing much of anything, but I know I can build up energy fairly quick, and it's Future Sight. I mean, nothing really wants to take a Future Sight, right? So they end up using their energy on the Cresselia, and rather than using a shield, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll just come in with the Steelix, Dragon Tail down, which fortunately we did, and now they come out with the Swampert, and I'm really hoping that the Earthquake does not go shielded, but even if it does, I'm fine with that because I would have taken a shield at that point. So it does not go shielded. I swapped my altered Giratina, and now we're at a Giratina versus Giratina mirror match, which, you know how this goes. I mean, it's basically a matter of, do you want to just beat it with the straight super effective damage, or do you want to fish for the boost? For the most part, I just like to fish for the boost because if and when I get that boost, then that gives you like a huge advantage, right? A massive advantage overall. So it looks like they are going for the super effective damage. For me, again, at this point, that's not such a huge deal. I believe I throw this Ancient Power, boost fishing, then I swap into the Steelix here, and they swap right back into their Swampert. So now I'm like, oh yeah, I should use a shield because I don't like where I'm at in terms of pacing against the opposing Giratina Altered, and this Steelix I'm really going to need. Unfortunately, I was able to Earthquake that Swampert with shields down. If I had gone Heavy Slam, I probably could have lost against the Swampert because that's not going to do much damage at all to the Swampert. Don't go Heavy Slam into Swampert. But now at this point, it's pretty much GG's. I have access to Heavy Slam, throw it at the Giratina, and that is a GG's trainer. Next opponent here, again, I'm going to open up with the Super Bowl Cresselia, and look, we literally got matched up against the same person. The same person running the same team, same lead. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll play it a little bit differently this time because I know there's multiple ways that I can beat their line. Since I already know what their line is, I know what they lead with, and I know how they seem to like to play, I'm just going to swap in my Giratina to see how they answer, which fortunately, apparently they don't know that they went up against the same person again, but I go straight into the Giratina. I get the boost right away, so now this already gives me a huge advantage. But I want to save the Cresselia this time around because I know in a lot of scenarios, the Steelix can put up a decent fight against the Armored Mewtwo, and Cresselia can put up a decent fight as well. But more importantly, I'd rather save the Cresselia to kind of shut down the Swampert a little more because I don't like the threat that Swampert puts up against my Steelix, right? So they bring out the Swampert, and I basically just stay in at this point. I mean, I'm boosted. I believe I still use a shield here because I don't want to take any of the Earthquake damage. They still have their Giratina Altered, so I don't want my Giratina to go anywhere at this point. I go for the Ancient Power, seeing if I can get a boost again. They actually end up shielding, strangely enough. I don't have any shields left at this point, and even if this was an Earthquake, I have boosted defense, so it's definitely not going to KO. I'm not even sure that it would. even if I didn't have the boosted defense. But now he brings back in the Mewtwo. I still have the Giratina, which is boosted at this point, and I believe he lands a Rock Slide successfully, which we tank comfortably. We're boosted. The next opponent, Mr. Dude. Mr. Dude opens up with the Alolan Muck, which you know, that's kind of one of the glaring weaknesses in this team. When you bring the Cresselia with the Giratina, Alolan Muck is not a good thing to run into, which is part of the reason I still anchor Steelix. I mean, I guess I could drop the Steelix and then go Swampert, but so far I've kind of preferred Steelix myself. But as you notice, right, their Alolan Muck, it's basically just gone straight Acid Spray, but it's running Poison Jab, so their Alolan Muck is not running Snarl, so they're not going to be doing much of anything at all to the Steelix. Since they've gone, you know, nothing but Acid Spray, I'm still not going to shield. They ended up actually landing a Dark Pulse successfully, but again, with how bulky Steelix is, he still really doesn't care that much. And I'm like, they might shield bait or they'll go Dark Pulse. You know, at that point, I still think it's worth the shield because I want to save the Steelix so I can use him later on, and I'm just going to go straight Heavy Slam. I'm actually kind of happy at this point because they've used another shield. But you know, it's kind of a tough decision to make. Do I use another shield or not? Because if they Acid Spray, then that's then that would suck. But at this point, I don't want to press a charge move super hastily, right? I don't want to waste energy on something that it wouldn't be very effective against. I want to throw the Earthquake into the Licklicky, which is a beast, a massive beast in Ultra League. In my opinion, I definitely would have featured it by now if I had the Stardust to invest into one. But we'll see what they have, right? If they had a Shadow Ball right there, that probably would have been GG's. I think the Shadow Ball would have come close to TKO, if not just a TKO in and of itself. But it looks like they might not have Shadow Ball, or they do have a second move, and it's just not Shadow Ball on that Licklicky. They just went straight Body Slam. But again, at this point, that's fine, because now I have the Giratina to go in against their Giratina, and I still do have a little bit left on that Steelix. So, I mean, at this point, you know, even if they had a Dragon Breath Giratina, this game is pretty much closed. GG's trainer. And just so we can see that I still did take the win, there we go. Dragon Claw into the Giratina, and then my Shadow Claw takes the W. On to the next opponent here, which I believe... Okay, yeah, this was the one. So he ran Blaziken, which might seem really weird, but you'd be kind of surprised. This is obviously a CMP tie with a little bit of lag, I think. But watch how much damage the Blast Burn still does, dude. Look at that. Look at that damage. That is so much. Obviously, they're going to have to shield the Future Sight. I believe is going to TKO a Blaziken, even at this range. And yet another CMP tie, unfortunately. I do end up using a shield. And I believe they use another one as well, which I believe actually we both end up using both shields on the lead, which in practice, you know, that's not a good thing. That's really not such a good idea, especially because I hands down know the Blast Burn combined with me, you know, getting to another Future Sight is going to be a CMP tie. I know I'm going to lose that. So in retrospect, I would have been kind of safe maybe if I swapped into the Giratina, but this is the reason I didn't. I'm like, if they open Blaziken, they gotta be running some other kind of super mega spice on their team, and yes, they ended up bringing the Lapras, so I'm going to take the Ice Beam to the face. Obviously, I'm going to go for the Ancient Power, not even just fishing for the boost, but I got to land the super effective against the Lapras. I got to do something, and I kind of felt in my gut during the battle that I'm like, if I try to go for another Ancient Power, there you go. They're going to have either a Surf or another Ice Beam at that point. So, you know, I rather would have gone for the Dragon Claw rather than nothing at all. So I'm still kind of at a disadvantage at this point because I'm going to take, I think end up taking 2 Surfs from the Lapras, but I do want to dedicate to a Dragon Tail down because I want to have this energy for use that I built up to answer whatever it is that they have in the back. So Lapras still did a good amount of work against us, but look, it is the Venusaur. So I throw the Earthquake right away and I do a quick aggro swap into Cresselia, which has this Future Sight that TKOs the Venusaur. GG's trainer. All right, and the last opponent here, this is where I did end up taking the loss in this set, okay? King, why? They open up with the Articuno. I'm not going to shield. I'm not going to shield anything that's going to throw at the Cresselia. Again, Cresselia is super duper bulky, so You know, even though the icy winds are kind of a bummer, I'm really not that worried about it. Somehow, even after he debuffed me, he uses a shield. I'm not sure if that was really a bad call or not, but I don't think that's really for me to say in this battle because I lost this battle, so I lost this one pretty hard. So he comes in with the Swampert. I'm not going to use a shield. I know it's not an Earthquake at this point, and I just want to see if I can land my Earthquake into the Swampert, which I think we did. That kind of picked things up for me a little bit. I needed to land that Earthquake. And did I use a shield here? If I used it, yeah, okay. I probably should have not used that shield, honestly, at this point, because now they reach another Hydro Cannon, obviously, before I can reach the Earthquake, and that was basically a wasted shield on my part. So in retrospect, I definitely should have saved that shield. Would it have turned the battle around completely if I did? Maybe, actually. It might have saved me in this match, but again, I have almost nothing left on this Cresselia. They have a basically full health Articuno with a basically full health Alolan Muck with Snarl, which is the pick that my team really doesn't want to see. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much GG's. They're able to Ice Shard down. At this point, I'm like, even if I shield, which I think I did, but even if I shield and I land the Ancient Power, TKO the Articuno, I'll get in a couple extra Shadow Claws to build up some energy. But even then, if I don't get this boost, which I didn't, then there's absolutely no way that I'd stand a chance against the Alolan Muck. I think within this range, I would have to actually get double boosted to stand a chance against the Snarl Alolan Muck. Unfortunately, we didn't get a boost at all, and I stopped attacking because they can just Snarl down. GG's. So that was it for the set. Again, I did end up going 4-5. I think it was a pretty successful run overall, but it does have that one glaring weakness. There's also, you know, a couple other things this team has to worry about, but I just knew. I knew someone would bring the Alolan Muck. That was it for this video today, battlers. So subscribe if you feel my vibe, and power up, punch the notification bell for all the PvP content. We will see you in the next video. Have a good stinking day.